This is not just a quarter, this is a time capsule in your hand. The 2003 Maine quarter tells a story of rugged coastlines, iconic lighthouses, and a maritime heritage that shaped the nation. And if you think it is just worth 25 cents, you might want to think again because what I am about to reveal will change the way you look at coins forever. The Maine quarter dollar, released in 2003, is part of the United States Mint 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. This program was one of the most ambitious coinage series in the history of the United States, introducing unique reverse designs for each state in the order that they entered the Union. Maine, the 23rd state to join the Union in 1820, had its design released on June 2003 and quickly became a favorite among collectors and residents. June 2, 2003, and quickly became a favorite among collectors and residents alike. The design on the reverse features the Pemaquid Point Light, a historic lighthouse located in Bristol, Maine, which has been guiding mariners since 1827. The lighthouse stands on a rocky cliff overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, a symbol of safety, guidance, and resilience in the face of the unpredictable coastal weather. The image is complemented by a depiction of a schooner sailing in the distance, representing the maritime heritage and shipbuilding history that is central to Maine's identity. The design also incorporates pine trees along the rocky shoreline, an homage to the state's nickname, the Pine Tree State. The selection of this design was the result of an extensive process that involved public input, artist renderings, and the approval of the Maine Commemorative Quarter Advisory Committee. The committee reviewed several design concepts before choosing the one that best captured the essence of Maine's history, culture, and natural beauty. The Pemaquid Point Lighthouse was not only a practical choice due to its historical significance, but also a visually striking one, making the coin instantly recognizable to anyone familiar with the Maine coastline. Maine has a deep connection to maritime trade, fishing, and shipbuilding industries. From the early days of European settlement in the 1600s through the 19th century, shipyards in Maine produced some of the finest wooden sailing ships in America, and the schooner depicted on the quarter pays tribute to that tradition. Fishing communities along the coast relied on vessels like these for trade and survival, and many still do to this day. The coin's imagery therefore bridges the past and present of Maine's seafaring traditions. The obverse of the coin retains the familiar profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with slight modifications to accommodate the series. The inscriptions include United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust quarter dollar, and the mint mark, depending on where it was struck. Maine quarters were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, with some special proof versions struck in sand. Francisco in clad and silver compositions collectors often seek out high-grade examples, particularly those with sharp details and minimal wear, or the silver proof issues which have a mirror-like finish that enhances the lighthouse and schooner design, while the face value is 25 cents uncirculated, and proof versions can be worth more depending on condition and rarity. One aspect that fascinates collectors is the possibility of errors in the minting process, like double dies, off-center strikes, or other anomalies, which can make a Maine quarter far more valuable than its regular counterparts. Such errors occur infrequently, but when they do, they become prized possessions among numismatists, adding an extra layer of excitement to coin hunting. The Maine quarter's release was met with enthusiasm in the state, with events and ceremonies celebrating the unveiling, school programs educating children about the history and significance of the coin, and a surge in coin collecting interest in the region. Many residents proudly collected rolls of the coins as keepsakes and to pass down to future generations. The Pemaquid Point Lighthouse itself continues to draw thousands of visitors every year, many of whom are inspired to see the real-life location featured on the coin. The lighthouse is part of the Pemaquid Point Lighthouse Park, which offers sweeping ocean views, a small museum, and historical exhibits that tell the story of Maine's coastal life. This blending of numismatics, tourism, and heritage makes the Maine quarter a unique example of how coinage can serve as both currency and cultural ambassador. The 2003 Maine quarter is more than a commemorative piece. It is a miniature canvas that encapsulates centuries of history from the early Native American presence in the region through European exploration, colonial settlement statehood, and the modern era. Maine's rugged beauty and maritime traditions are carved into every detail of this coin, reminding us that every quarter has a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than 25 cents. The release of the 2003 quarter was part of a broader trend in numismatics where coin designs were used to promote state identity, tourism, and education. The 50-state quarters program reached millions of Americans, many of whom began collecting for the first time. Children traded quarters in school. Adults searched their change, and coin dealers saw increased interest from casual hobbyists and serious collectors alike. The Maine quarter stood out for its detailed and picturesque design, which captured both natural beauty and historical significance. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 217 million Maine quarters, while the Denver Mint produced over 231 million, making it a relatively high mintage coin in circulation. However, its value to collectors depends on condition with mint state and proof examples. Commanding higher prices, the San Francisco Mint struck both clad and silver proofs, with the silver proofs being particularly attractive due to their sharp contrast and luster. Collectors also watch for die varieties and errors with the Maine quarter. While there are no famous widespread errors, like the Wisconsin extra leaf quarters, certain examples show die cracks, die chips, or weak strikes, which can be of interest to specialists high grade. Examples graded MS-68 or higher by major grading services can sell for a premium, especially if they have perfect luster-sharp strikes and no visible contact marks. The lighthouse keeper's life at Pemaquid Point is another fascinating part of this coin's backstory. Keepers lived on site often with their families, maintaining the light in all weather. They would climb the tower multiple times a day to trim wicks, fill lamps, or later to maintain the Fresnel lens. Storms could batter the coast for days, forcing keepers to stay vigilant to ensure the light never went out in winter. Ice and snow made the work even more challenging, yet many keepers served for decades, developing a deep connection to the light and the sea. Some of their stories have been passed down in local lore and preserved in museum archives. The location of Pemaquid Point itself is historically significant. Beyond the lighthouse, nearby archaeological sites show evidence of early Native American habitation and later English and French settlements. The area was contested during the colonial wars of the 17th and 18th centuries and saw trade conflict and cultural exchange over the centuries, standing on the rocks at Pemaquid Point. Today, one can imagine the countless ships that passed by relying on the light. For safety, the schooner on the coin is a reminder of that enduring relationship between Maine's people and the sea. The Maine quarter also reflects a broader theme in the 50-state quarters program, which is the use of coinage as a storytelling medium. Coins are not just currency. They are artifacts that connect us to place history and identity. The decision to choose the Pemaquid Point lighthouse design over other submissions was made after careful consideration of what image would best represent Maine, not just to its own citizens, but to the entire country, and indeed the world.